Çok teşekkür ederim Zeynep Hanım. Şimdi yine ortak ürün geliştirdiğimiz ve yine Microsoft'un bu etkinliğine global olarak sponsor olan Dell'i sahneye davet etmek istiyorum. Dell'den konuşmacımız Avrupa, Orta Doğu, Afrika Bölgesi Pazarlama Müdürü Luc Mahon. Luc, welcome.
Okay, if people can hear me? Yeah, great. So my name is Luc Mahon. I'm EMEA Marketing Manager for Dell. I've been in Dell for a number of years, but I actually started out as an IT journalist. And I guess the reason I got into IT in the first place and moved into working for an IT company is I really wanted to help customers solve problems. And I think today what we're talking about with private cloud and Microsoft is really about solving problems. Now I appreciate that I don't speak Turkish. I appreciate it's very cold in here. And I also appreciate that I'm standing between you and lunch. But it's a very short presentation, so just bear with me and we'll go through this quickly. So what are we talking about, solving problems? And well, why do I bring that up? Well, most IT companies we speak to, and I speak a lot to different IT companies, or IT departments, different customers, and they say to me right now the biggest problem they have is that their IT users are coming to them and saying, hey, listen, I want all these kind of great things. I want to bring my own device in. I want these new apps. I want this now. I don't want to have to wait for it. I don't want to wait 3 months for a new server. And meanwhile, the business is saying, you need to start making me some more money. You need to start, helping me drive forward these new policies. And what's happening is IT departments are being squeezed. They're stuck in the middle and they're being squeezed. And that really is what's given birth to the rise of the private cloud solution. So what does a private cloud look like from a Dell perspective? Well, today's data centers, as you can see on the left, are typically quite complex, very static. They're fragile. They break quite easily. It's very easy to put the wrong setting in there manually and cause a problem. They're quite costly and inefficient. And they're quite error-prone. Private cloud solutions, and we've already seen a lot of examples of this with System Center 2012 and what we're seeing from Microsoft, they deliver a much more agile solution for you. It's much more simple, it's dynamic, gives you flexibility, and it's much more resilient as it goes through. It's also a lot faster. I want to talk a little bit about fast and about speed, and a solution that Dell's been shipping for a number of months now. And that's our vStart solution. So vStart solution is basically a pre-built, pre-configured stack of servers, storage, and networking, which is configured and ready to run a virtual environment. So, for example, a Microsoft flavor one like a vStart 200M, that's Microsoft Fast Track validated today anyway. What happens is that thing is delivered pre-built to the customer site. So essentially what we'll do is we'll talk to the customer, understand what needs to be put inside that system for it to be delivered to their customer site. We then build that, ship it, and deliver it. And it comes in a big crate. It's already pre-cabled and pre-configured. Essentially, we plug that in on the customer site, and it's ready to start deploying VMs to it. So you can immediately start deploying VMs to it after it's white glove installed. So after a number of hours, as opposed to waiting weeks for this thing to be set up. The really great thing about our vStart solutions is that you manage all of that from within inside System Center. We're not providing you third-party tools or kind of different interfaces to do this. We're actually plugging in all our management functionality right into System Center for the Microsoft vStarts. So you're already using tools that you're already familiar with. You haven't got to learn new tools to build that up. And it allows you to manage your servers, your networking, the storage inside there, as well as all your applications and your operating system as well. One of the great things about this vStart product as well, we're about to refresh it with our 12th generation server portfolio. This is our Intel E5 based portfolio, which we've now been shipping now for over a month since the E5 launch. One of the great things about this, and we're very proud of our 12th generation portfolio, it gives you some great flexibility in there. For example, the ability to run complex workloads much more efficiently. And you can do that through Flash PCIe. We actually have hot pluggable Flash PCIe connected drives on the front of our servers. Or you can run it through things like we have Cascade on our RAID controller, which gives you database acceleration on the RAID controller. You can have a whole host of different enhancements inside the 12th generation. We can reduce complexity with intelligence built in. All our 12th generation servers actually have hardware-based, agent-free management sent on all our servers across the entire portfolio. Nice thing about that is that you can manage everything completely agentless. which is really powerful. So regardless of the operating system that you're running, the virtual tools you're running on there, you can manage that whole infrastructure. You can do updates out of band for your firmware and so on and so forth. You can also increase virtualization with the virtualization solutions inside our 12th generation tools. For example, all our servers ship with mirrored SD cards on there, so you can actually have your hypervisor running on your SD cards without having to, so you can run completely stateless systems where you don't have to have hard drives in there. You can just have them connected through to your shared storage and just run your hypervisor on those systems without having to worry about spinning media inside your server. So reducing the amount of power you're using inside that server and reducing the ability or the chances of having a failure inside the server. And I mentioned earlier on that with all the tools that we have from Dell through our open managed portfolio, what we like to do is be able to offer our customers the ability to plug into systems that they're already using or the software they're already using. So let's have a look at some of the integration points that we already have with Microsoft System Center. So with Configuration Manager, you already have the ability to do deployment and update inside on Dell hardware from inside Configuration Manager. And we have full integration with our lifecycle controller. We already saw a demo of that today, which is really fantastic. You can see that integration going on. Beyond that, we have our Dell management packs, which plug into System Center Operations Manager, which allow you to manage your Dell hardware alongside the ability to manage your workloads inside Operations Manager. And we have our plugin, our Pro Packs plugin for SCVMM as well, so the ability to manage your Dell hardware alongside your virtual infrastructure as well, which can be obviously Hyper-V or other hypervisors as well. So you have complete plugin. The nice thing about what we're doing here is we're offering the ability to plug into tools that you're already using. So you can plug this into System Center. You haven't got to go outside of that and plug in and use different tools to manage these. One other tool we have from Dell is a Dell Virtual Integrated System. It's a portfolio of products which allows customers to accelerate towards the cloud. And there's a particular piece of software inside this portfolio I wanted to highlight today. And that's a product we call Dell AIM. Now, one nice thing about Dell AIM is, first of all, Dell AIM already integrates into System Center Orchestrator. We've heard a bit about System Center Orchestrator 2012 today. The great thing about AIM is it basically enhances some of the abilities that you have inside System Center. One of the things you can do with AIM is you can move a workload seamlessly from one server to another, from physical to physical. So if you have a Dell server and a non-Dell server inside your environment, you can move a static workload, an operating system, from that server to the other server in the span of a reboot. You can also move the workloads between different hypervisors seamlessly. So I haven't got to do any conversion work. I can just move a workload. For example, I've got a virtual machine running in a non-Microsoft virtual host over here, and I can fail that host and bring across that virtual machine into a Hyper-V environment seamlessly without having to do any conversion work. So the nice thing there is if I've got a very large host with, say, 50 VMs on there, I can easily fail that across if I wanted to take that out, or if I can use it to help myself migrate from one more expensive virtual environment to a less expensive virtual environment, for example, to help cut costs inside my data center. So a really powerful tool which sits inside Dell's virtual integrated system. I wanted to call that out. The whole point of what we're doing in a virtual integrated system is to be able to optimize the converged infrastructure to allow you to manage a heterogeneous environment that you have inside your data center. We appreciate that most sites that we go to, it's very, very heterogeneous. You have a mixture of different servers, a mixture of different storage, a mixture of different network. With all the tools that we offer with Dell and the tools that we have that we jointly integrate with Microsoft tools, the whole point behind there is the ability to manage your existing heterogeneous infrastructure. We're not asking you to rip and replace, to put in new tools, and to start again from scratch. So just to summarize what I mentioned earlier on, Dell and Microsoft working together, what's really nice about this portfolio, you can see on the right-hand side there that we have a complete managed portfolio of products inside there working harmoniously with Microsoft. Dell services, the ability to deploy these tools. Inside there we have our hardware, we have our servers, we have our networking, we have our storage, we have our management tools, which is Dell Open Manage, which plugs in the different levels into System Center. We have AIM, which I mentioned earlier on. Then we have the Microsoft portfolio of products inside there, and also this Self-Service Creator, which is another another private cloud enablement tool. On the left-hand side, you can see all the integration points that we already have. I already mentioned the integration points we have in System Center, integration points we have with Windows Server. So a very powerful tool, and very, very important to note that the partnership is so cohesive. Having this cohesion allows us to achieve some really impressive figures. So looking at the top left-hand corner, around 1 billion people every day use cloud services today based around Dell hardware. We're the #1 iSCSI storage provider in the world. We already have figures for #1 blade performance figures today. From a Dell perspective, we've decided we were going to virtualize our own environment. We started doing that a couple of years ago, and so far we've already saved $100 million by doing that. We've helped over 100 customers, we've created over 100 business-ready configurations for customers, for example, vStart and other tools as well. We have now 41,000 service professionals through our Pro acquisition, and over 10,000 software as a service customers today. So huge figures, very impressive figures from a Dell perspective. Okay, I'm just going to finish up, and what I'm going to do before I finish up, I'm going to ask my colleague Bora to come up and talk a little bit in Turkish about some of the initiatives that we're doing inside Turkey. The important thing to mention just lastly in all of this is that the Dell prospect working harmlessly with Microsoft is the ability to have complete choice, to be very scalable, and to offer a unified solution that's very simple. That's really what it's about. But the last point I want to mention is really about the vStart tool I mentioned earlier on, which is this slide here.
Test. Evet. Merhabalar, adım Bora Taşer. Dell'in bulut bilişim ve yeni nesil veri merkezleri liderlik görevini yürütüyorum Dell'in gelişen Avrupa bölgesinde. Çok kısa vaktinizi alacağım. 5 dakikayı geçirmemeye çalışacağım. Microsoft'la beraber Dell ile aslında çok önemli bir inisiyatif başlattık. Bu inisiyatifi de Türkiye lokalinde başlattık. Ve bunu da lokalden bir ekipten birinin anons etmesi, duyurmasının daha doğru olacağını düşündüğümüz için ben sahneye çıktım. Microsoft ile Dell'in vStart çözümleri, yani donanım tarafındaki işte server, storage, network çözümlerin üzerine Microsoft'un Hyper-V ve System Center çözüm platformunu kurarak, entegre ederek uçtan uca bir çözüm oluşturduk. Bu çözümü de tabii ki şu kapsamda sizlere sunuyoruz. Öncelikle sizin ortamınıza geliyoruz, sizi dinliyoruz, sizin ortamınızdaki ihtiyaçlarınızı anlıyoruz, sanallaştırma ihtiyaçlarınızı anlıyoruz, sanallaştırma planlarınızı, gelecekteki planlarınızı anlıyoruz, aynı şekilde fiziksel ihtiyaçlarınızı anlıyoruz ve bu doğrultuda ortamınızın bir resmini çekmeye çalışıyoruz. Çektiğimiz bu resim doğrultusunda size en uygun olan vStart modelini beraber birlikte kurguluyoruz, bunun kararını veriyoruz ve bunu daha fabrikada üretilirken bu talimatı veriyoruz merkeze. Orada sizin bu ihtiyaçlarınız doğrultusunda vStart 50, 100, 200 veya 300, hatta yeni çıkacak olan 1000 versiyonu ile beraber System Center ve Hyper-V kurulumları da gerçekleştirilerek, hatta sizin ortam ihtiyaçlarınızdaki imajlarınızın bile fabrikada deploy edilerek, test edilerek ve hatta uzaktan size açılıp sizin de uzaktan bağlanarak test ettiğiniz şekilde artık ürün tam sizin ihtiyacınız doğrultusunda sonuçlandırılmış oluyor. Ve ürün Türkiye'ye giriş yaptıktan itibaren yaklaşık 3 gün içerisindeki bu Dell'in taahhüdüdür. 3 gün içerisinde sizin ortamınızda kuruluyor ve ayağa kaldırılıyor. Bu inisiyatifle ilgili aslında daha detaylı bilgiler verebilirim fakat vaktimiz çok kısıtlı. Arka taraftaki standımızda bu inisiyatifle ilgili gerek broşür, gerek sunumlar, ben de orada olacağım. Size elimden geldiğince yardımcı olmaya çalışacağım. Onun bilgisini vermek istedim. Çok teşekkür ederim tekrar dinlediğiniz için ve geldiğiniz için.
Thank you very much.